Today's story, the man with the blue suede shoes. He was a skinny kid with a sharp mind and a knack for taking things apart. Born in Washington, D.C., he grew up with a father who had a particular obsession with sundials. His dad had been a prisoner of war in a Japanese camp during World War II, and without a watch, he learned to tell time by the shadows on a shovel handle. That fascination with the sky and a steady march of logic rubbed off on the boy. He eventually found himself at Cornell University, sitting in a lecture hall, hanging on every word of a man named Carl Sagan. But the young man wasn't dreaming of television cameras. He wanted to build things that stayed on the ground, or more accurately, things that helped others get off of it. By the late 1970s, he was a successful engineer for Boeing in Seattle. If you've ever flown on a 747 and noticed the hydraulic pressure resonator, a little device that dampens the vibration in the airframe, you can thank him. He was a man of cold, hard facts and complex mathematics. But when the sun went down, the pocket protector came off. He had a secret life. He was a stand-up comedian. He spent his nights in smoky clubs doing impressions and winning Steve Martin lookalike contests. He was a man divided, a serious scientist by day and a goofball by night. One evening, he was performing a comedy sketch on a local Seattle show called Almost Live. The host was short a guest and asked the engineer to fill a few minutes in, and anything scientific. The young man didn't want to recite formulas. He wanted to show the why. He walked off stage, reached for a household fire extinguisher and some baking soda, and proceeded to demonstrate how to make snow. Right there in the studio, the audience didn't just laugh, they were mesmerized. The producer looked at the skinny engineer in the lab coat and realized he had something special, but that engineer needed a hook. He needed a persona that bridged the gap between the laboratory and the living room. He put on a bow tie, a practical choice because long neckties have a nasty habit of dripping into beakers and getting caught in machinery. And he leaned into the enthusiasm he felt back with Carl Sagan in the classroom. For years, he worked behind the scenes, balancing a career at Boeing and his growing local fame. Eventually, he took the leap, leaving the world of aeronautics to prove that science wasn't just for textbooks, it was for everyone. He showed a generation of children that inertia is a property of matter, and that the world is a beautiful, logical, and vastly exciting place. You know him as a high-energy educator who made science rules, a national catchphrase. But to the engineers at Boeing, he was just the guy who fixed the 747's shaky hydraulics. But you know him as Bill Nye the Science Guy. And whether you realize it or not, this is the landing point.